With so many exotic armor pieces in Destiny 2 these days, it can be confusing for newer players to know which ones to prioritize getting. I've been getting the same question from some friends and clanmates who are pretty new and are trying to get into raids, dungeons, and other endgame content. Usually something like, Exotic, I want to start doing raids and dungeons, so what good gear should I get to prepare? So in today's video, we're going to cover my top 5 relatively easy to get and use exotic armor pieces for every class for new players who want to get into that endgame content. Starting off with Warlocks, at number 1, I've got Cenotaph Mask. Cenotaph Mask steadily reloads a portion of your equipped trace rifle's magazine from reserves. Damaging a vehicle, boss, or champion with a trace rifle marks them, and when an ally defeats a marked target, special ammo is generated for you and heavy is made for your allies. This helmet is an amazing exotic to have as it generates heavy ammo for your fire team without needing a finisher like you do with Aeons. But you can double up on heavy drops if a teammate finishes a marked target with Aeons on. It's perfect to use for any mechanics loadout before you start boss DPS to keep you and your allies full on ammo. All you need to do is use a trace rifle, shoot a mini boss, vehicle, or champion to mark target and let your teammates get the final blow. If they're taking a while to kill it, you can just tap the target again with your trace rifle to refresh the marked target timer, and you'll know it worked if a marked target drops special ammo for you. You can obtain this helmet via solo legendary lost sectors on helmet day if you have the Lightfall expansion. Coming in at number 2, I've got Verity's Brow. Verity's Brow is a great niche choice and can even be meta for certain encounters with the right setting. Verity's is kind of a complicated exotic, so I will summarize what it does. Whenever you get kills with a weapon that match your subclass element, you gain stacks of death throws for 11 seconds, max 5 stacks. Death throws grant 50% additional grenade recharge rate and 20% increased grenade damage per stack of death throws. Also, when you use a grenade while death throws are active, your allies will also receive the Field of Flames buff, which grants 10 times grenade recharge rate for 5 seconds. In short, you get elemental final blows that match your subclass, get stacks of death throws, which allow you to spam grenades with increased damage while giving your allies increased grenade recharge rate. Couple this helmet with the solar subclass, fusion grenades, and the touch of flame aspect for warlocks, which enables your fusion grenades to detonate twice, and you will basically be throwing mini nukes for grenades constantly. Only issue is you need a lot of ads during DPS phase for you and your team to use multiple Verity's Brows, if any. A couple examples where Verity's is meta or at least an extremely good pick is at Atheon in the Vault of Glass and at Daughters of Oryx in King's Fall raids. You can even use Verity's with healing nades and Ember of Empyrean for an infinite ×2 restoration build, and I'll have a link in the description for a dim link for that. You can get this helmet from opening exotic engrams you get from any activity. Number 3 on my list for Warlocks is good old Sunbracers. Sunbracers is a fantastic choice for Solar Warlocks to use for ad clear and survivability and endgame content with the right build. Check out my dim link in the description for a Sunbracers build. They're very easy to use. All you gotta do is just get a powered melee kill and enjoy infinite solar grenades for a short duration that also have increased duration thanks to helium spirals, making them perfect for ad clear. Not much more to say about Sunbracers honestly, but you can get them through any source of exotic engrams as well. Heading over to number 4 on my list for Warlocks is Starfire Protocol. Even though Starfire got nerfed heavily a season ago, it's still good with the right setup and is much more balanced now. With Starfire, you gain an extra fusion grenade and gain additional grenade recharge rates from empowered weapon damage, with final blows granting more energy. You also get an instant rift each kill you get with a fusion grenade. For the updated build, you mainly need Ember of Benevolence for the faster grenade, melee, and class ability regen for a short time, Ember of Searing for the extra grenade energy on Fire Spray pickup, and a Healing Rift or Phoenix Dive to proc Ember of Benevolence by healing your teammates, making Starfire a solid choice for team play. Starfire Protocol is another great exotic you can get from any exotic engram and is free to all players, or from Icor Array at the tower via the Exalting the Flame New Light quest. My last recommendation for Warlocks at number 5 is Lunafaction Boots. Lunas give your rifts the additional ability to increase your weapon reload speeds by 100% for you and your teammates. Your empowering rifts also double your weapon's range on top of the increased reload speed. This exotic is great for any Solar Warlock on Well of Radiance to use during a DPS phase in support of their team to help out with weapon reloads and DPS. All you gotta do is drop a rift in your well and then stand inside the rift and enjoy the extra reload reload speed and or range depending on the rift you're running. This exotic can also be obtained through exotic engrams. A couple other exotics worth an honorable mention for Warlocks is Ophidian Aspect and Phoenix Protocol. Ophids are a fine choice for DPS as they provide increased reload and ready speed for all your weapons, while Phoenix Protocol allows you to chain spam wells, making it a great choice in Grandmaster Nightfalls. Moving on to Hunters, the number one exotic I recommend to be on the lookout for is Star Eater Scales. Star Eater Scales will be your best friend when it comes to damage. Star Eaters grant you additional super energy from orbs that you pick up, and while your super energy is full, picking up additional orbs overcharges your super for extra damage, a burst of healing on cast, and an overshield on cast based on the number of stacks of Feast of Light you had, max 4 stacks. Basically, once your super is charged, you want to pick up 4 orbs to gain 70% increased damage to your super. This exotic allows hunters to have some of the highest damaging supers in the game with Blade Barrage and Gathering Storm. It's literally just free extra damage you can put out, and you cannot go wrong with this exotic in a PvE setting in my opinion. You can obtain this exotic from soloing legendary Lost Sectors on Leg Day if you have the Beyond Light expansion. At number 2 for Hunters, which you could argue could be 1A, is Assassin's Cowl. This helmet with the right setup, usually on Arc Hunter, is an absolute survivability machine. Assassin's Cowl grants invisibility and health on powered melee kills. Finishers and final blows against more powerful targets also increase the invis duration and the portion of health that you will receive. If you're not familiar with the dodge punch combination blow Arc Hunter build, well, you about to learn today, my friend. On this Arc Hunter setup, you want Gambler's Dodge, Combination Blow, coupled with Flow State and Lethal Current for your aspects, and all you do is dodge, punch, and repeat. This is one of the best ad clear and survivability loadouts you can run in endgame content for hunters, which is perfect for new raiders. What you can also do is use Assassin's Cowl during mechanics of a raid, for example, and then switch to Star Eater Scales for damage. Check out my video on how to load out Hot Swap to learn how to set this up correctly, and feel free to use the dim link in the description for the build that I use. If you don't already have Assassin's Cowl, you get this helmet from my core array in the tower after completing the Shadowkeep campaign on your hunter. Until you beat Shadowkeep, there is no other way to get it. However, once you do have it unlocked in collections, it can then drop from exotic engrams or random drops from activities like Nightfall completions. You can also focus this at Rahul in the tower once you do have it in your collections. Next up at number 3 on the list for hunters is Foe Tracer. When damaging a powerful enemy or guardian with an ability, this helmet highlights the target and grants you a temporary bonus to weapon damage matching your subclass type. Defeating highlighted targets with a weapon matching your subclass element spawns an elemental pickup, for example a Fire Spray, Ionic Trace, or a Void Breach. With the rework of Foe Tracer in Season 22, this exotic helmet is an all-around great choice for hunters to choose from, allowing you to gain a weapon damage bonus equivalent to 4 Surge mods anytime you damage a boss, major, or enemy player with an ability. For those who don't know, the max surges that you can put on your legs is only 3 surge mods, which is a 22% damage increase. This allows you to run surge mods for other weapons you're using that are not matching your subclass. For example, what I do on Solar Hunter is I use Star Eater Scales at the start of a DPS phase for extra super damage, and then hot swap to Foe Tracer with triple kinetic surge mods on for my Izanagi's Burden. For my heavy, I run my Apex Predator so that it matches my subclasses, being solar. Just make sure to use your knives on the boss to proc Foe Tracer's weapon surge times 4 and let your times 3 mods on your legs do the rest. This way you're getting surges for 2 different weapon types, allowing you to pump out some crazy damage. This is more of an advanced example, but Foe Tracer is still a fantastic general use exotic for everyday builds too. You can get this exotic helmet via exotic engrams from ritual challenges, your season pass, or world drops. Stepping over to number 4 on the list for hunters is Aeon Swift. Aeons allow you to generate heavy ammo for your allies upon finishing mini bosses, or champions, and special ammo on elite finishers with Sect of Insight equipped. This exotic is a great general option to keep your team well supplied in endgame content, including Grandmaster Nightfalls, raids, and even dungeons. I usually prefer to run Aeons on hunters since they can go invisible and run up to tougher enemies in endgame content relatively safely. Warlocks have Cenotaph Mask anyway, and Titans have plenty other exotic arm pieces to choose from. You can also obtain Aeon Swift through exotic engrams that you get from your Season Pass, Ritual Challenges, or World Drops. Dropping in at number 5 for Hunters, I have Orpheus Rig. This Void Hunter exotic leg piece provides ability energy for each target tethered by Deadfall and provides an additional shot on your Mobius Quiver Super for 3 shots instead of 2. More specifically, on Deadfall, Orpheus Rig returns up to a max of 50% super energy and 10% grenade, melee, and class ability energy per enemy tethered. This exotic is a fantastic choice for any encounter where a Void Hunter is needed for a debuff on the boss rather than Tractor Cannon. You'll be getting your Deadfall supers and abilities back extremely fast while also being able to dish out a little bit more damage and prolong your debuff with the additional volley of Mobius Quiver. It's perfect for a new raider as it's easy to use and fairly easy to acquire via exotic engrams from your Season Pass, World Drops, and weekly playlist challenges again. Some honorable mentions for Hunters is Gerfalcon's Halberd and Omnioculus. These chest pieces are also a fine choice for Void Hunters to have in general for endgame content with the constant invis and volatile rounds from Gerfalcons and the quite literally infinite invis rotations you can achieve with Omnioculus. I just do not prefer these exotics for DPS setup. However, you could use Gerfalcons for ad clear and then switch to Orpheus Rig for damage. Both are still fine for general use in endgame content in my opinion though, especially Omnioculus in Grandmaster Nightfalls for its constant invis rotations. So still important to have your eye out for both of them. Last but certainly not least, going over to Titans, at number 1, I've got Synthoceps. Synthoceps are absolutely goated in my opinion for Titans and make builds like Strand Titan and Solar Bonkhammer Titan that much more broken in PvE. With Synthoceps, you gain the Biotic Enhancements buff while you're within 15 meters of 3 or more enemies. Biotic Enhancements grants you 50% increased super and glaive damage and 200% increased melee damage, while also providing a lunge distance increase to 7 meters. This is another extremely versatile exotic armor piece that you can't really go wrong with in my opinion, and is a great choice for players starting endgame content, especially raids and dungeons. Since Synthoceps are another awesome choice from the Red War, they are obtainable via exotic engrams or the Exalting the Flame New Light quest for Titans from Ikora Ray at the tower. Sitting at number 2 on my list for Titans is the Pyrogale Gauntlets. These brand new exotic arms are a fantastic choice for Solar Titans during a boss damage phase, as Percussive Flames turns your Burning Maul super into a single high damage slam of your hammer that creates 5 Cyclones of Flames and deals 650% increased damage. Without Pyrogales, Burning Maul is a roaming super that has multiple swings and is kind of useless if you ask me, but with Pyrogales you can swap them for damage, pop your Burning Maul, slam the boss with it, and continue to dish out damage via your normal DPS weapon rotations, while your Tracking Flames continue to burn the boss, allowing Solar Titans to be much more viable in DPS metas. You can gain this incredible arm piece via soloing Legendary Lost Sectors on Arms Day if you have the Lightfall expansion. Falling at number 3 for Titans is Curse of the Falling Star. This chest piece increases your Thunder Crash damage by 100% and grants you a 100 HP overshield for a duration based on the distance that you travel. The farther you go in your Thunder Crash, the longer your overshield lasts, maximum 20 seconds. This is another very easy to use exotic for Arc Titans to switch to for damage phase for the increased super damage. All you gotta do is just throw it on, use your T-Crash. Not much more to really say about this exotic, to be honest. You can get Curse of the Falling Star via soloing Legendary Lost Sectors on Chest Day if you have the Beyond Light expansion. Hopping over to number 4 on the list for Titans is the Loreley Splendor Helmet. This exotic helmet spawns an enhanced sunspot at your feet that gives you ×2 restoration anytime you become critically wounded with full class ability, or whenever you cast your barricade yourself. This is another great option for Solar Titans that want a little more survivability during ad clear mechanics, who also want to play a little more on the safe side rather than the aggressive playstyle needed with Synthoceps. Pair Loreleys with the Throwing Hammer, Roaring Flames, Soul Invictus, and Ember of Solace and Singeing for increased restoration and class ability regen when you scorch targets, and you'll have your ×2 restoration and rally barricades up virtually all the time, rendering you nearly impossible to kill. You can get your hands on this helmet doing solo Legendary Lost Sectors on Helmet Day if you have the Witch Queen expansion. Jumping into number 5 for Titans is none other than the Heart of Inmost Light. This chest piece is still a fine exotic to use even after the nerf it received a few seasons ago, and even though it's not at its former glory. This exotic still allows for some decent ability spam on Arc and Void Titans, and can be a pretty good option for ad clear during mechanics phases in endgame content. With Hoyle, using an ability empowers the other 2 abilities for 5 seconds, granting faster regen, with melees and grenades gaining 400% more damage at 1 stack and 800% more damage at 2 stacks. Barricades simply get 25% increased regeneration rate at 1 stack and 50% increased regen at 2 stacks of empowerment. You can get Heart of Inmost Light via the Into the Abyss New Light quest from Ikora Ray at the tower, or from soloing legendary Lost Sectors on chest day if you have the Forsaken expansion. An honorable mention for Titans is the Abiant Leap. Abiant Leap improves your Dranger's Lash to spawn 2 additional projectiles that track targets more aggressively and travel a greater distance. You also gain Woven Mail upon suspending targets, making it a fine choice for Strand Titans in endgame content even after the nerf to suspend. I hope you enjoyed today's video on the top 5 exotic armor for new players who want to improve their endgame content experience. If this video helped you out, please leave a like and comment, and consider subscribing to the channel if you're part of the 98% not already subbed for more Destiny 2 tips, tricks, and guides, as it is absolutely free. As a reminder, if you want to stay up to date on my content and live streams, feel free to join my Discord server. Also, if you want to join a community of Guardians to hang out with, make friends, find people to play D2 with, and get PvE help from me, feel free to join the Notorious Destiny community. We're a growing community of Guardians, welcome to those of all skill levels, links are in the description. Thank you so much for watching, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.